I've been attacked so many times. Death threats, I've been sexualized.
Big mama, big mama, that big mama for real.
She literally sat up there and made up a false scenario to get sympathy, and none of it is true.
The WNBA's turmoil has only gotten worse, and Angel Reese is in the center of the storm once more. However, this time, it's not about ostentatious antics or harsh plays after games. It concerns her tendency to project a hypersexualized public persona.
Angel Reese is literally making up a whole scenario that don't exist.
Until the backlash occurs, at which point she abruptly changes the plan. After receiving severe media criticism and being jeered by crowds, she is now making headlines again and claiming to be the most recent victim.
Herself has said, do not sexualize me.
What is the true story here then? Is it insecurity, hubris, or is Angel Reese caught in a game she never really learned to play? This isn't simply another legal battle. Why does she continually putting herself in the spotlight only to cry foul? When it goes against her, we're dissecting every aspect of this recurring pattern today.
Caitlin Clark would have. I mean, she is a stand-up person. Everything I have seen, she's just blown me away with her really, really gracious.
In a recent impassioned public statement, Angel Reese claimed that ever since winning the championship, she has been singled out, threatened, and objectified. Here's the twist though. Even though she depicts ongoing assault, the attention she has received has been nothing but kind. She has received widespread praise, landed big commercial deals, and appeared on the covers of prestigious magazines.
They won a national championship, they kissing her ashy elbows everywhere she go. She's celebrating in the WNBA even though she ain't even close to Caitlin Clark.
The fact that she isn't being kept quiet, she has received praise. This victim story seems more like a tactic to deflect criticism away from the choices she is making, choices that continue to cause controversy.
I have great teammates. I have a great support system. I got my hometown. I got my family that stands up for me. I don't really get to speak out on things just because I just try to ignore, and I just try to stand strong. Like, I've been through so much. I've seen so much.
Reese returned to social media a few days after another contentious and-court incident, posting more provocative content, including explicit clothing, highly sexualized images, and videos that had nothing to do with basketball.
Big mama, big mama, that big mama for real.
This isn't a coincidence. There is a cycle. When the reaction hits, she blames the world of being unfair after publishing content that incites criticism. It's difficult to ignore the irony. She creates an image and then seems taken aback when others react to it. Following a recent game in which Caitlin Clark was hit across the head for a flagrant foul, things deteriorated once more.
Racist dumbasses over a foul in a WNBA game. They cry wolf left and right.
However, rather than accepting responsibility, she went one step further and implied favoritism from references by asserting that certain individuals received preferential treatment. That behavior just served to fuel the flames, giving the impression that she was more concerned with avoiding responsibility than taking responsibility for her conduct. Then, off the court, there was another conflagration.
It was a flagrant foul called on Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese and Aaliyah Boston assessed a technical foul.
Jason Whitlock absolutely scorching Angel Reese over her hate for Caitlin Clark.
Why hate Caitlin Clark? You're nothing without Caitlin Clark.
A WNBA commercial that showed Reese posing provocatively and wearing skimpy clothing went viral, with many people criticizing it as tone-deaf and unprofessional. It raised serious concerns about how seriously she wanted to be viewed as an athlete, when both fans and detractors questioned whether she was more focused on her image than her performance.
I think we went up really strong a lot of times and we didn't get a lot of calls. And going back and looking at the film, I've seen a lot of calls that weren't made. I guess some people got a special whistle, but...
Reese finally started crying during a recent press appearance. She talked about the pressure, threats, and unrelenting criticism, as well as how much it has affected her behind the scenes. This was a rare moment of vulnerability that immediately made headlines, reminding everyone that behind the drama is someone who is obviously struggling to keep it all together. She claims that since winning it all, she hasn't had a moment to breathe, and to her credit, she is still showing up and pushing forward, but her emotional cracks are starting to show.
I don't really get to stand up for myself. I have great teammates. I have a great support system. I got my hometown. I got my family that stands up for me. I don't really get to speak out on things just because I just try to ignore, and I just try to stand strong. Like, I've been through so much, I've seen so much.
A heated moment during the Chicago Sky vs. Indiana Fever game served as the catalyst for the entire event. Angel Reese was given a clean, strategic foul by Caitlin Clark. Nothing out of the ordinary, simply typical gameplay, but Reese didn't think so. As her temper flared, the topic of conversation abruptly turned from basketball to yet another off-court brawl. Later, Reese and her team claimed that they were the focus of racial remarks made by the audience. These were serious allegations, but they lacked evidence, records, or video, just accusations that were similar to those from the previous season, and the disconnect starts there.
Angel Reese is literally making up a whole scenario that don't exist.
I've been attacked so many times. Death threats, I've been sexualized.
I've been death threats, I've been sexualized. She's been celebrated, bro.
It had to do with drama. There is no proof to support Reese and her team's claims that the audience targeted them with racial epithets. No sound or video, just accusations similar to the previous season.
The Indiana Fever basically got whatever free agent player they wanted. They put a super team around Caitlin Clark.
The bogus investigation that's going on by the WNBA.
Angel, where does it leave us? Reese keeps requesting not to be sexualized, saying one thing, and then immediately returning to the forefront with content that supports that same answer. When the criticism comes in, she always uses the same tactic: victim cards and tear press conferences. However, this is the harsh reality. You can't pick only the type you want when you base your business on attention.
Kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie, targeted by society, targeted by her looks, targeted by her reputation, targeted by the disrespect that they've shown to the WNBA.
I don't know why they are not taking a chance with West Bell. I mean, she got in late in the game. This is where she got her 2 points. And honestly, I think she's better at doing that than Angel Reese. She's better at doing that than Cardoso. So allow her to come in and supply that pressure from the big position.
At some point, it's about what you do, not what the media says. You don't get to flash the camera and then complain when people react. When your gameplay isn't the news anymore, the noise you make off the court becomes the only thing people talk about. Although Angel Reese is talented and has a platform, she will continue to face criticism until she chooses to align her words with her behavior. As a result, people will no longer accept her emotional blackmail, inconsistencies, or never-ending justifications. So Angel, perhaps it's time to quit promoting that image if you're sick of being perceived that way. Otherwise, don't be surprised if the response aligns with the image you've created.
Like, the New York Liberty did not go for anything. They were chilling. Like, the Chicago Sky in the fourth quarter had their starters playing, but literally to end the game.
After the game, Angel Reese was reportedly spotted crying and told close sources that she felt deceived by the media and league as a result of the backlash. Many people online condemned her emotional response as deceptive, claiming she was playing the victim after starting the fire herself, despite her claims that she was being unfairly singled out and stabbed in the back by those who had previously applauded her. What should have been a vulnerable time has instead made the gap between her and the people wider rather than offering support. Some online critics and media voices turned Angel's emotional moment into a weakness by labeling her a loser and saying she caused it herself by being overly aggressive or self-assured. They present her breakdown as evidence that she can't handle the limelight, ignoring the abuse she endures.
What's a lesbian look like? Angry. You got the angry African-American lesbian who just can't handle somebody coming into their league as a white girl with a bunch of...
The one thing that I love that she's bringing to her sport, more people want to watch. More people want to tune in.
It's a harsh story that ignores the actual strain, the unfair treatment, and the poisonous attention that follows her everywhere. Angel Reese has already portrayed the victim. She publicly embraced the bad guy character and applauded a flagrant foul on Caitlin Clark last year. She even downplayed Clark's influence when she said she was the reason women's basketball was flourishing. But when criticism arose, she changed the narrative, claiming she was misunderstood, singled out, and now sexualized. As a sex symbol, you cannot expect attention and then complain when it becomes awkward. That is the unfair standard she consistently promotes. No one in the mainstream appears eager to truly examine one aspect of this entire issue.
Angel Reese still can't score layups. She had 5 turnovers to 1 assist. She was just chucking the ball out of bounds sometimes. This is a really, really ugly game.
Much of this issue has been fueled by the double standards since the outset. Angel Reese aspires to be hailed as a role model, but her actions create doubts about her deservingness of such position. On the other hand, it is considered privilege or bias when someone like Caitlin Clark conducts herself with professionalism and attentiveness. The media is very involved in this, frequently portraying Reese's actions as strong or unrepentant, while denouncing Clark for doing nothing but succeeding.
I was shocked that fans were shocked, so-called fans, with the physicality of the WNBA. You clearly haven't watched the WNBA. They are physical. And all of a sudden, it's Caitlin Clark's getting roughed up. It felt like they were zeroing in on our little Caitlin Clark, and she's getting roughed up. Was she? Yes, but that's the physicality of this.
That's the problem. Two distinct standards are being presented to us simultaneously. A lady is free to dress provocatively, show off her body, and dance for pictures. Freedom is that. However, you can't have someone who portrays herself online as a reality TV star and demands to be seen as a serious professional, particularly when the opposing party, in this instance Caitlin Clark, is held to a higher standard and still succeeds in exceeding it without protest.
Angel Reese got shut out entirely.
One of the worst games she's played as a professional.
In 16 seconds, Angel Reese, no points, 5 rebounds.
She can't actually rebound the ball. What she cannot do is shoot the ball.
Any criticism of Angel Reese is instantly branded as racist or misogynistic due to her cultural defense. Yet this defense is undermined when it is evidently connected to her personal decisions, her words and deeds, her public persona. This is about maintaining a professional and consistent image, not about politics or ethnicity. Someone must accept the criticism that comes with being the loud, courageous athlete and quit changing the script and acting like a victim whenever something becomes awkward if they want to play that character.
I think she hates the fact that she's not the star and that she sees it as white propaganda that Caitlin Clark is suddenly popular and everybody watches women's basketball because of Caitlin Clark. She hates it.
You cannot pretend shocked when people treat you like a product rather than a person while promoting yourself like a brand and pursuing notoriety through controversy. It isn't oppression. You signed up for precisely that kind of game. The same. Supporters who can spot phony humility can also spot performance outrage. Furthermore, the public will never forget what has already been said, worn, or posted in the name of engagement, no matter how many tears are shed during a news conference.
We've been having all this back and forth over that, over that. That's what we've been comparing to Caitlin Clark. Stop playing games. This girl just went 0 for 8, 2 for 6 from the free throw line. They lost by 35 and 25. Can y'all stop mentioning this girl with can we stop acting like that's even a rivalry? She's not a good enough player to have a rivalry with Caitlin Clark. I'm sorry. She's just not a good enough player. She's not good enough for this to be a rivalry. I'm sorry.
The internet has been divided ever since Angel Reese sobbed while speaking at that news conference about how she had been sexualized and threatened with death. Some people were moved by her sentimental remarks, while others couldn't help but notice the irony, because her own online behavior contradicts her claims that she is a victim of sexual objectification. She has previously leaned into the narrative that she is being attacked, that the media is out to get her, and that no one wants to see her succeed. However, when you consider the bigger picture, the truth is that she has been praised much more than she has been demonized. She has gotten everything of it: attention, sponsorships, and fame. She has continued to use the spotlight to create more drama and controversy rather than accepting it with professionalism. When you look at her social media accounts, the contrast is even more obvious.
She's not good enough to be the best player on the team. And I don't think that's a non-basketball statement. You can say what you want. Angel Reese is an unbelievable fourth option, a good third option, a below average but not horrendous second option, but the worst first option in the WNBA. Like she cannot score layups.
Angel Reese picking up right where she left off, breaking more WNBA records, but unfortunately for Sky fans, it came in the form of a loss, 99-74.
It may be time for Angel Reese to consider taking up a different game. I don't know what game she wants to possibly take up. I know one thing, She can't wait for the Unrivaled season to start at this point.
People who say, "Don't sexualize me," are difficult to believe. However, there are a lot of extremely controversial posts on their Instagram, booty-focused photos, clips of dance angles, and tight clothing that emphasize everything but basketballs. These aren't private images or paparazzi leaks. She decides to disclose this information. People can therefore see through it when she claps back when detractors call her out for it, claiming that she was misinterpreted or unfairly judged. It's not about regulating women's attire. The conflicting messages are the issue. Naturally, Caitlin Clark's name inevitably comes up again in the discourse, so if you brand yourself a specific way, you can't complain when it works precisely as you intended, whether it's a blatant infraction on the court or a crude remark made during an interview.
The weight of the burden of what did not transpire this past weekend also coming down on her. Because again, here we are, how many days later? This is Friday, that was Saturday. 6 days later,
Angel appears to revolve around Caitlin's accomplishments. That comparison hasn't helped her case either. Caitlin is focused, dominant, and well-respected for both her skill and her demeanor. Angel, on the other hand, is becoming more well-known for the drama surrounding her than for her actual gameplay, and the backlash is being driven by this discrepancy between her words and actions. Angel Reese's confidence and outspokenness prevent people from being furious. They are fed up with her being protected from legitimate criticism by the victimization myth. Accountability must come first if she is to receive the respect she says she is entitled to.
To say that Angel Reese is like a bad player.
One of the worst games she's played as a professional.
If Angel Reese, the first option in your team, is going to be the worst team in the WNBA.
It was the worst nightmare that the Chicago Sky and Angel Reese could have possibly imagined.
This was horrendous from the Chicago.
Ultimately, Angel Reese is no longer deceiving anyone. The paradoxes and double standards, people are actually tired of the tearful news appearances, which are beginning to feel like a well-planned production. Being consistent is the first step towards earning respect. The way you conduct yourself both on and off the court is the first step towards being taken seriously. This is about making people accountable for the image they project, particularly when they want to be viewed as role models, not about pulling them down.